After I slit my wrists to kill myself, a piercing scream rang in my ears. Song Yuzu, how dare you die? He traded his life for yours. Why do you have the right to die? I couldn't respond because I was mute. But behind my silence, there was a shocking secret hidden. I wasn't some golden young lady, but an experiment that was worse than an animal. At the age of 5, I was chosen by my rich father to be the victim of his crazy experiments. And that boy Chen Shu, who was always cold, guarded me with his life. Now, the gears of fate are turning again. Can I escape this nightmare? Or was it all predestined long ago? After I had slit my wrist, a piercing scream rang in my ears. The person in front of me screamed through sobs. Emma, how could you dare to die? How could you? Your life was given to you at the cost of his life. What right do you have to end it? I could no longer hear her clearly and didn't have the consciousness to respond. Even if I had heard, I couldn't have replied because I'm a mute. Everyone knows that the usually arrogant and domineering young lady of a wealthy family is a mute. But what they don't know is that I'm not a wealthy young lady at all. Instead, I'm an experimental subject worse than an animal. Ha ha ha, look at her, she's bleeding. There was a chorus of childish laughter around me, both from boys and girls. The stinging pain on my body made my blurry consciousness wake up instantly. Where am I? Just as I was feeling confused, the laughter around me suddenly stopped. The crazy kid is coming. The crazy kid is coming. Run away, a little boy shouted in panic among the group of children. Then, they all ran away one by one and disappeared without a trace, as if they were being chased by some ferocious beast. I looked up, and a thin and lanky little boy stood eerily opposite me. Stupid. His childish voice was extremely cold. I looked at the person in front of me, feeling a bit dazed. Go back. The matron has something urgent for you. His tone was still icy cold. He turned his head and was about to leave, as if he didn't want to say another word to me. The matron was the strict headmistress of our orphanage. Seeing that he was about to leave, I hurriedly ran up and grabbed him. How old are you now? I asked him by making sign language. Did you knock your head silly? He frowned when he saw me gesturing so urgently. I remembered that I was 5 years old this year, and Alex was 6. After I was bullied by other children, it was him who found me. Hurry up and go back. I said it's urgent. Alex's tone became more and more impatient. I won't go back even if I die. Whatever. Alex didn't look at me again and walked away without looking back. I looked at his thin and lanky back and couldn't help but cry. Alex didn't know that if I went back today, I would not only kill myself but also him. Today was the day my wealthy father came to pick me up. In my previous life, I happily went home with him. Later, I found out that I was just an experimental subject. When I was treated as an experimental subject by him, I was like an animal. No, I was even worse than an animal. I have to run. I must run. Even if I have to be a beggar on the street, begging everywhere, I will never let him use me as an experimental subject. After running 2 steps, I fell to the ground, and a sharp pain shot through the soles of my feet. This body was too weak, and there were a lot of blue and purple wounds all over me. Emma, where are you? The matron's anxious voice came. She's here. The little girl in front of me pointed at me and shouted happily. Go away. Who told you to say I'm here? I was so anxious that I stared at her fiercely with my eyes. HMPH, mute. All you do is gesture around all day. I can't understand it at all. In the end, the matron carried me on her back. I don't want to go back. Be good and listen. Today will be a day that changes your life. Don't make a fuss. I pounded her back hard and struggled on her back to show my dissatisfaction, but she didn't budge. Soon, we were back at the children's home. My heart suddenly froze as if doused in a bucket of ice. I knew that my great disaster had arrived. Emma, Uncle Johnson is very rich. If you go with Uncle Johnson, maybe he'll be able to speak in the future. The matron looked at me with a big smile. Ah, don't cry. Uncle is watching. As she said that, she quickly wiped my tears, afraid that the wealthy man in a suit in front of her would dislike me. The man had sharp eyes and sized me up from head to toe. Then he said in a commanding tone, Is she Emma? That's her then. I'll come to pick you up in 3 days. Hearing this, I was panic-stricken. I tightly grabbed the matron's clothes and shook my head desperately. Emma, what's wrong with you today? She squatted down, stroked my head, and asked with a puzzled look on her face. I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson. I don't know what's wrong with this child today. She's usually not shy around strangers. The matron didn't pay attention to my actions but turned to talk to the dignified man. She doesn't want to go. Are you blind? Can't you see that? A familiar figure appeared and pulled me behind him. Alex, who was still a young boy, had the same cold eyebrows and eyes, but his eyes showed a ferocity I had never seen before. In my previous life, he had the same reaction. I just thought he hated me and didn't want me to have such a rich father. After all, he was really mean at ordinary times. Every time I got close to him, he would push me far away and always call me stupid. But I never expected that such a person would be willing to sacrifice his life for me. Where did this brat come from? Mind your own business. The man looked at Alex with disgust and then motioned for his bodyguards to pull him away. Get lost, Alex shouted in his childish voice. His thin body protected me even more tightly, and his eyes were cold. You're mistaken. I'm Emma. Just when the situation was at a standstill, a childish girl's voice came. Stunned, I recognized her, Lily. She was the one who bullied me the most in the children's home, and it was also her who found me in the forest just now. But why did she say she was me? Lily, what are you talking about? Come back quickly, the matron shouted at her angrily and hurried to cover her mouth. Ah, you child, why are you biting? Lily broke free from the matron's hold and ran to the man. Uncle, I want to say a few words to you. I'm the one you're looking for. When the man heard this, he raised his eyebrows, looking a bit surprised and a bit annoyed, but only for a moment. The next second, he looked at Lily with great interest. Oh, really? After they talked in the room for a few minutes, the man slowly said, Matron, I'm taking her with me. The matron looked surprised. She's not Emma. Her name is Lily. Didn't you specifically ask for Emma? Emma is a very obedient child. She just can't speak since she was a child. You can treat her. Enough. Are you telling me what to do? Hearing this, the matron lowered her head. Her face looked a bit unpleasant, but she didn't say anything more. Then, the man drove away in his luxury car. Alex, don't let Lily go. Hurry up and persuade Lily. She usually listens to you the most. I pulled Alex and signed anxiously. Alex glanced at me, didn't say anything, and walked away without looking back. Only the matron and Alex could understand my sign language in the children's home. The matron also ignored me and just thought I was talking nonsense. Helpless, I found Lily. Don't go. He's not a good person. There's danger, I wrote on a piece of paper, but Lily said I was lying to her. Go away. I hate you. I don't want to listen to you. You're just unhappy because you see I'm about to have such a rich father. She was full of anger and pushed me to the ground forcefully, as if I were some extremely evil person. My knees were scraped and bleeding. Sorry. Are you okay? I didn't mean it. The next second, Lily immediately pulled me up from the ground and kept apologizing. I was stunned. Just a moment ago, she was so fierce, but the next moment, she was like a different person. Lily, what are you doing? Alex suddenly came over. There seemed to be anger in his tone, and then he pulled me behind him. So that's it. I almost forgot. Lily only bows her head to one person, and that's Alex. But Lily was very strange today. If it were normal, she would have thrown herself at Alex long ago. But today, she just stared at Alex. What made me even more curious was that there was a hint of strangeness in her eyes when she looked at Alex. After that day, I didn't try to persuade Lily anymore. If she was determined to seek death, then I would just let her go and let go of my urge to help her. Alex, will you miss me? Alex, this is the candy I've saved for a long time. Now I'm giving it all to you. Alex, actually, I really don't want to leave you. Just as I was lost in thought, I heard Lily's voice with a hint of a sob. Although Lily was only 5 years old and dressed simply, her face was as delicate as a doll's, especially her pair of clear and lively big eyes, which were very lovable. Now, she was looking at Alex with those clear and lively big eyes. Alex stood opposite her, looking indifferent and not saying a word. Seeing this, Lily's eyes full of expectation and reluctance gradually became disappointed. If it were her leaving today, you wouldn't be like this, would you? Lily stood there for a long time, and Alex still didn't speak. She was so angry that she was about to cry. 3 days later, Lily was picked up by my wealthy father from my previous life. When she left, she kept staring at Alex, as if she wanted to see through him. Then, she stared at me. I originally thought her eyes would be full of disgust when she looked at me, but it wasn't. Instead, it was a look I couldn't understand. After Lily left, a wealthy couple came to the children's home and adopted me. They didn't mind that I couldn't speak. They just thought I was very likable. They wanted to take me away on the same day. Alex just watched from a distance and didn't come to say goodbye to me. Just a moment ago, I saw Alex talking to my new mother. I didn't know what he said. I just saw my new mother shake her head and wave her hand at him. Then Alex walked away with his head down, and I couldn't see his expression clearly. I wanted to go up and say goodbye to him, to tell him not to always ignore people, not to always call others stupid, and to definitely find good parents. And I also wanted to thank him for protecting me. Maybe this is the best outcome. It's better that we never have any more contact with each other, as long as we can both live well. I looked at Alex and then got into my new parents' car. I saw Alex standing there and not moving for a long time. It wasn't until the car drove far away and I couldn't see him anymore that I retracted my gaze. I had a strange feeling in my heart, feeling very stuffy and uncomfortable. But I didn't expect that the more I wanted to avoid him, the more I couldn't. Emma, have you heard? Your brother got into another fight. I shook my head, already not caring much. The couple who adopted me treated me very well. They had a son who was 1 year older than me. They spent a lot of money treating my illness, but it was all in vain. The doctor said it was congenital and incurable. Emma, do you know who your brother fought with? I shook my head, indicating that I didn't know. A transfer student. I heard that he was a well-known tough guy in his previous school. He's really good at fighting. I guess your brother is going to get hurt this time. My deskmate continued when I didn't say anything. Fighting on the first day of school. Awesome. The girl in front of me also leaned over and said, quiet, a new student is transferring to our class today. The homeroom teacher shouted on the podium. I looked up, and at that moment, my blood froze. Hello, everyone. My name is Lily. Please take care of me in the future. There was a round of warm applause from the class. Lily just stared at me intently and smiled faintly. I felt a chill in my heart from her gaze and immediately averted my eyes. After school, I waited for my brother as usual. You little mute. Do you have excessive brotherly attachment? You wait for your brother every day. I smiled and didn't say anything. Get lost. Who told you to call my sister a mute? My brother got angry and pretended to kick his friend. Okay. I won't call her that anymore, Mike. Spare me. Watching them fool around, I just smiled. I was already used to it. The next second, my smile froze on my lips. I saw Lily walking out of the school gate side by side with a boy, chatting and laughing. The boy's face was as clear as the moon, looking distant and indifferent. But at this moment, because of Lily beside him, the corners of his mouth were slightly raised. I recognized him at a glance. It was Alex, the grown-up Alex. HMPH. I can't believe it. I met that brat and that bitch again. Just as I was in a daze, my brother said in a voice that was neither too loud nor too soft, as if on purpose. What did you say? Say it again if you have the guts. Alex came over and grabbed my brother's collar. Let go, Seeing that my brother was powerless in front of him, I was extremely anxious. I even, as if by some strange impulse, reached out and grabbed his wrist. Ouch, so cold. It's clearly summer. Why is Alex's hand as cold as a dead person's? He turned to look at me, and when our eyes met, I clearly felt his pupils quiver for an instant. But the next second, his eyes turned slightly cold and he said, Scram, don't get in the way here. Don't hurt my brother, please. I was just about to make sign language for Alex to see, but a pair of slender and beautiful hands stopped me. This is her brother. Let it go, Alex. Lily suddenly stepped forward and spoke, pulling Alex aside as she did so. Mind your words next time. Alex let go of my brother, but his eyes kept staring at me. Alex, what are you looking at? Let's go. With that, Lily quickly pulled Alex away, as if she didn't want to stay there for another second. Alex, we agreed today that you'll accompany me to have seafood. Don't go back on your word. Okay, perhaps because I can't speak, my hearing is exceptionally sharp. I suddenly felt a bit uncomfortable in my heart, a sour and astringent feeling, which was really strange. Alex is severely allergic to seafood. How could he agree to accompany Lily to have seafood? Even after the two of them had walked far away, I was still standing there looking at their backs. Little mute, let's go. Discretion is the better part of valor. Next time I'll find someone to teach him a lesson. Brother, he's my friend. Please don't cause trouble for him in the future. My brother specially learned sign language for more than half a year for my sake, and now he can understand what I mean. Your friend? With your situation, how could you have such a friend? What do you mean by such a friend? He's a good person. I was a bit angry. I knew my brother's nature. He was a genuine little bully in our grade. All right. I won't. My brother said hastily when he saw that I was a bit angry. By the way, this weekend, Mom and Dad said they want you to go to the children's home. The matron is not going to make it. What? How could this be? I feigned surprise for my brother, though I'd already lived through this in my past life. At the weekend, I went to visit the matron. She took me to the room where we used to live. There, I accidentally found a diary. Who would write a diary at such a young age? I was a bit puzzled. The lock of the diary was actually broken, as if someone had deliberately broken it. After I opened the diary, a line of delicate handwriting came into view. The next second, I was stunned on the spot, as if struck by lightning. I never expected things to be like this. I took the diary home. I was absent-minded all the way. 1. Go to Mr. Thompson's house instead of Emma and prevent her from dying. 2. Win over Alex. There were only these 2 sentences in the diary, and my mind was in a complete mess. Mr. Thompson was my crazy wealthy father in my previous life. Could it be that Lily also came from the previous life? What does win over mean? Could it be that she's bound to some kind of system and has some secret mission? My thoughts were in such a mess that the next day I went directly to Lily and threw the diary in front of her. She looked up at me, her eyes full of surprise. The next second, she said indifferently, "You found out. You should be grateful to me. Did Mr. Thompson do anything to you?" I wrote the words on a piece of notepaper I carried with me and held it in front of her. "It's none of your business. Just live your life well. I only want Alex. I endured all those sufferings instead of you. Give me Alex, okay?" She looked impatient, as if she didn't want to talk to me anymore. "What do you mean by asking me to give him to you? He has nothing to do with me now anyway." I don't know why, but I was a bit angry, and I wrote with extra force. "Then that's good. Stay away from him. It really isn't worth it for him to give his life for you." I was taken aback. In my previous life, Alex was a natural-born winner, with a bright future ahead of him, yet for me. Lily sneered when she saw me in a daze. "Stop pretending here. Don't think I don't know you. You, Emma, only care about yourself." Hearing her say this, I felt a bit hurt in my heart. She thought that after Alex died, she was the only one who was sad. She didn't know that every day when I dreamed, my mind was full of Alex. I hadn't had a good night's sleep. Whether I was eating, sleeping, or working, tears would flow down on their own, and I couldn't stop them. After Lily looked at me a few times, she was about to leave. I quickly grabbed her. Why did you save me? Was it a mission given to you by the system to save me? No. You just need to remember that I saved your life, and you give me Alex. I told you, I have no say in Alex's matter. HMPH. Do you know why Alex is with me? I looked at Lily, my eyes full of doubt. This was exactly what I wanted to ask her but hadn't. Because I lied to him before. I said I was you, and I knew everything about you too. He believed me. I really didn't expect to meet you here, but it doesn't matter now. He really likes me now and doesn't care who I am anymore. Lily kept talking to herself, and the joy in her eyes seemed to overflow. Hearing her words, my heart felt as if it had been pricked with countless tiny holes. The scenes of Alex and Lily walking side by side and smiling at each other, the scene of Alex accompanying Lily to have seafood, played out frame by frame in my mind. "Isn't it obvious, Emma?" A voice in my heart kept questioning myself over and over again. In the afternoon, I found out that what Lily said was indeed true. Because I wasn't willing to accept it, I followed behind Lily and Alex. But the place they went to next really made my heart sink. They went to a hotel that was quite far from the school. I watched as the two of them walked into the hotel side by side. Along the way, they were chatting and laughing, and they even playfully fought from time to time. I had never seen Alex so relaxed and happy before. In front of me, Alex was always like an iceberg that would never melt. In front of Lily, he seemed like a completely different person. It was clearly September, but my world was like a world of ice and snow. I stood there without moving. For a moment, the twilight became hazy, the sunset lost its color, and the hot evening wind that had just been so stuffy turned into a cold breeze. It started to pour down with rain. After a while, the two of them came out under the same umbrella. By the dim street light, I accidentally saw that Lily was no longer wearing the same clothes as before. At this moment, my heart ached so much that it felt like it was suffocating. The smell of rain mixed with the smell of dirt hit my face, and I only felt a strange kind of relief. "Emma, what are you doing here?" The next second, a clean and magnetic voice rang in my ears. When I looked up and saw Alex, my brain seemed to lose the ability to control myself, feeling numb and dull. I ignored Alex and turned around, striding into the rain. Alex didn't chase after me, nor did he give any explanation. Thinking of this, I smiled self-deprecatingly. Why should he explain to you? You have nothing to do with each other anymore. He likes Lily now. When I got home, I had a high fever because of getting caught in the rain. My parents were often away from home because of their busy work. My brother took me to the hospital. When the intravenous drip was almost finished, he was called away in a hurry by a phone call. After the intravenous drip was finished, I was going to go home, and my brother called a car for me. Just as I stood up, my head felt a bit dizzy, and my body was wobbling. The nurse was about to help me, but a pair of hands with distinct knuckles reached out first. "Emma, are you sick?" I was taken aback when I saw that it was Alex. In my previous life, when I wasn't feeling well, Alex never left my side for a single moment. Once, he was so weak from a fever himself, but he still took care of me without even taking off his clothes. But now, Lily was always by his side. Maybe because I was feeling sick and also feeling sad in my heart, my eyes immediately turned red. Alex was taken aback when he saw this and frowned. "What's wrong with you? Where do you feel uncomfortable? As he said that, his slender fingers reached towards my forehead. I turned my head to avoid it. Alex was clearly taken aback for a moment, and then he retracted his hand. He lowered his head and looked at his retracted hand, his eyes showing a bit of a complicated look. From beginning to end, Lily didn't say a word. What's your relationship with her? I endured the discomfort of being sick, raised my sore arm, and made sign language. It's the kind of relationship you think it is. Alex glanced at Lily and slowly said. I forced a smile that looked uglier than crying. Then I wish you all the best. I'm not feeling well, so I'm going back to rest first. As I signed the words, my nose stung with unshed tears. Emma, are you okay? Why are you crying? Lily asked with a faint look of surprise and even took out a tissue and handed it to me. I shook my head and turned to leave, but Alex grabbed my hand and started making sign language to me. Don't cry. I have nothing to do with her. I stared blankly at Alex. Then he made sign language to me again. Go back and rest well. Don't think too much. Trust me. Perhaps the way Alex was looking at me now was so gentle that it reminded me of Alex in my previous life. I actually nodded involuntarily. When he saw me nod, a trace of imperceptible joy appeared in his eyes. On the way home, I kept guessing the reason why Alex did this, but I couldn't figure it out at all. Miss, you're back. There was a guest at home today. He said he came to see you. As soon as I got home, the nanny who took care of my brother and me smiled at me. I looked up and saw an uninvited guest sitting on the sofa in my house. My wealthy father from my previous life. Come with me. Otherwise, all your current family members will suffer. He spoke slowly, looking at me as if I were an ant that he could crush to death at any moment. What if I say no? I pretended to be calm and typed the words on my phone and showed it to him. In fact, my hands were shaking as I typed. Do you know why your brother left you alone in the hospital? He looked at me and showed a sickly smile on his face. I was stunned, and a huge sense of panic spread in my heart. What did you do to my brother? What happens to your brother now depends on you. Give me 3 days to think about it. I finally compromised with him. All my efforts over the years had come to nothing at this moment. What right do you have to negotiate terms with me? He curled his lip, eyes narrowing. Don't push me too hard, or I'll make sure you get nothing. I glared at him fiercely. Sir, the experimental subject can't have the slightest mistake. A low and hoarse voice came out. Only then did I notice that there was a man standing beside him respectfully, wearing a white coat and black-rimmed glasses. I would recognize him even if I turned to ashes. He was in charge of the whole experiment for Mr. Thompson. He injected all kinds of colored solutions into my body every day. Sometimes this solution made my body itch, and sometimes it made my body fester. The most terrible thing was that he would tear off a piece of my skin every half a month. Don't play any tricks on me. I'll give you 3 days. Your current parents mean nothing to me. Even she is one of mine. As he said that, he pointed at the nanny who was standing there with her head lowered and looking respectful. After the two of them left, I slumped on the sofa as if I had lost my soul. Obviously their current experimental subject is Lily. Why did they come after me? Ignoring the discomfort in my body, I grabbed my phone and rushed out the door. What are you doing here? Have you forgotten what I told you before? Lily looked unhappy when she saw me coming to find Alex. What's wrong? Alex asked me with a worried look on his face. I instinctively wanted to tell Alex, but suddenly I stopped. I almost forgot what kind of price Alex in my previous life paid to save me. It seemed that I had no one to rely on except Alex. It's nothing. After making sign language to Alex, I pulled Lily aside. Has that doctor injected you with all kinds of strange solutions? I typed the words and held up my phone. Yes. So what are those solutions for? Lily looked at me in surprise. I'm not sure either, but I have 2 guesses. One is for doing experiments, and the other is to control us, because each solution has a corresponding antidote. Do you know that the blood type, age, and date of birth of the experimental subject are all restricted? I looked at Lily seriously and asked. I know. Otherwise, why do you think he was willing to take me away that day? I was a bit shocked, and then I quickly picked up my phone and typed. You know all of this? How do you know? Lily didn't pay attention to my words anymore but turned to talk to Alex. Let's go, Alex. Alex ignored Lily and suddenly grabbed my wrist forcefully. Did he come to you? What did he say to you? A trace of panic appeared in my eyes. I couldn't let Alex know. I shook my head. Alex still held my wrist tightly. Alex, let her go quickly. As Lily said this, she came up and pulled Alex's hand, looking very annoyed. Alex's grip was too strong. It seemed that if I didn't tell the truth today, he wouldn't let me go. Lily seemed to be on the verge of a breakdown and shouted. You still only care about her. Fine, I'll tell you everything, all right? I overheard Mr. Thompson and that doctor talking in the children's home. I told him that the matron was so eager to send you away that she lied to him and said you were the only one in the children's home who met the requirements. The first thing he did after taking me out 3 days later was to take me to the hospital for an examination. When he found out that my age and blood type were a match, he took me home. I already said I didn't want to drag Alex into this. Have you forgotten all about it? Lily looked at me angrily, as if I had forced her to say all this. Emma, I'll take you away first. With that, Alex was about to take me away. No, why? Alex, have you ever thought about how I feel? I know you read my diary. You want to use me to protect Emma, and I accepted that. But our investigation has just achieved a little success. Are you going to give it all up? Where are you going to take her? Lily said one sentence after another, her voice trembling. Sorry. After saying this to Lily, Alex was about to pull me away. Stop. Alex, why are you always like this? You lose your reason whenever it's about her. You've always been like this, in the past and now. In the children's home, you pretended to hate her on purpose because you were afraid that other children would stay away from her because of you. You're still the same now. You've been pretending to be nice to me just for her. After she finished speaking, she began to sob softly, as if she had suffered a great grievance. Lily, listen to me. I won't give up the investigation, but the most urgent thing now is to take her away. Alex tried to persuade Lily gently. Fine, you can go. Lily suddenly laughed while crying. After getting her consent, Alex immediately took me away. I suddenly grabbed Alex, and he turned his head and looked at me in confusion. Let me go. When I handed my phone to Alex, I clearly felt his body tremble. Are you crazy? You don't want your life? Alex said angrily. What's wrong with letting her go? That medicine will just torture her a little bit. She won't die, Lily shouted hysterically. No, she can't go. Seeing the way Alex was protecting me, I felt very uncomfortable. If things continued like this, there was a good chance that Mr. Thompson would take Alex's life again. It's none of your business. I shook off Alex's hand and made sign language angrily on purpose. I said you're not allowed to go. Alex was angry and immediately grabbed my wrist forcefully again. Do you know what will happen to my family if I don't go? I looked at him desperately. I'll find a way. You don't need to worry about it. I don't need you to care. Just leave. This should have been my fate, not Lily's. Emma, you. Alex was still speaking when he suddenly fell to the ground. My mind went blank, as if it was about to explode. Go. Just as I was about to go and check on Alex, I saw Lily half supporting Alex's body and shouting. I didn't move but stared at her. Hurry up and go. He's okay. I did it on purpose. If you don't go now, you won't be able to leave when he wakes up. When she saw that I didn't leave, she shouted anxiously again. I turned around and left but kept looking back from time to time. I wanted to take a few more looks at Alex. Once I went, I might lose my life. Have you thought it through so quickly? It's good that you have. I knew you were a smart kid. Mr. Thompson looked at me with a satisfied expression. I took out a piece of paper and wrote down 3 conditions on it. 1. Let my parents and my brother go. 2. Kick Lily out. 3. Provide me with abundant material conditions. I thought you were a tough nut to crack, but it turns out you're just like everyone else. People can never escape the word greed. Mr. Thompson looked at me, and there was no real smile in his eyes. Fine, I promise you. Dr. Ding, take her to the laboratory. At Mr. Thompson's command, he dragged me into the lab I'd come to dread. Lie down. Just like in my previous life, this so-called Dr. Ding said coldly. In my heart, he was a disgrace to the title of doctor. For the sake of this crazy experiment, the things he had done were even worse than those of a beast. After a while, he injected a blue solution into my body. Stay here and don't move. I'll be back soon. After saying this, he left in a hurry. I was secretly pleased. I had tampered with his medicine on the way into the laboratory. After he left, the skin on my body started to turn red and swell. It was itchy and painful, and my consciousness began to blur. I endured the discomfort and stumbled to the rosewood table in the next room. Suddenly, something cut my right shoulder, and it hurt like fire. I ignored the pain, grabbed the bottle of orange medicine on the table, and poured it into my mouth. After taking the medicine, the discomfort in my body was relieved to some extent, but my head was still a bit dizzy. I started looking for his experimental data based on my memory from my previous life, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Just as I was about to leave, I heard voices outside. Where is she? I was so anxious that I didn't know what I pressed, and the white walls on both sides actually opened by themselves. It was a secret passage. I quickly hid inside. When I got in, the scene inside almost scared the life out of me. In the empty chamber, there was a large ice coffin. It was also filled with all kinds of decorations. It was obvious at a glance that the person who made it had put a lot of effort into it. But the person in the coffin actually looked somewhat like me. She was lying there with a pale face. What was even more terrifying was that the skin on her body was peeling off in large pieces. What are you doing? The door of the chamber was suddenly opened, and Dr. Ding roared at me. Leave now. I didn't expect that Mr. Thompson had also come. They both seemed very nervous about this ice coffin. I sneered, took out a scalpel that I had taken from the laboratory from behind my back, and then pushed the ice coffin open with all my strength. Then I pointed the knife at the girl. Don't touch her, Dr. Ding shouted. Mr. Thompson was also anxious. Put down the knife quickly. If you dare to hurt her, I'll make your whole family pay with their lives. I sneered and then pressed the knife against the girl's face. Unexpectedly, the next second, Dr. Ding rushed up regardless, holding a can of unknown liquid in his hand, wanting to splash it on me. I was panicked and instinctively dodged to the side. Unexpectedly, he splashed the thing on the face of the girl in the ice coffin. The girl's originally delicate and pale face immediately began to rot. You idiot, what are you doing, Mr. Thompson shouted angrily. You're going to die. Dr. Ding was furious. The next second, he grabbed a handful of powder from his pocket and threw it at me. I was caught off guard. After being splashed with the powder, I immediately felt nauseous, vomited, and collapsed to the ground. Dr. Ding picked up a scalpel and was about to stab me. I had no strength left in my body and couldn't avoid it. I've failed after all. I closed my eyes, and a tear rolled down my face. Goodbye, Alex. The pain I had imagined didn't come. Why do you have such a birthmark on your right shoulder, Mr. Thompson looked at me in disbelief. He grabbed the knife in Dr. Ding's hand, and blood was flowing from his hand. But he didn't care about his hand at all. He just looked at me and asked over and over again. Why? Where did it come from? My eyes went dark, and I fainted. When I woke up, I smelled the pungent smell of disinfectant in the hospital. You're awake. Lily looked at me expressionlessly. I'll go get Alex. She got up and walked out. The next second, Alex rushed in with a red thermos flask in his hand. You're awake? A cup of hot water was handed to me, and I looked up at him. There were bloodshot eyes all over his eyes, and a bluish-gray color showed on his sharply contoured face. Before I could ask him what was going on, he hugged me tightly. Why are you so silly? You almost lost your life. Do you know that? Before I could react, there was a thud sound at the door. Alex let go of me. When he looked towards the door, Lily had already left. In the following days, Alex stayed with me in the hospital all the time, and Lily never came again. Alex revealed the girl in the lab was Dr. Ding's daughter, a failed experiment he'd clung to, deluding himself it could resurrect her. What shocked me the most was that I was actually Mr. Thompson's daughter, and the girl in the ice coffin was my half-sister. A few days later, Mr. Thompson said he wanted to take me away, but I refused. No matter what, I was deeply afraid of and disgusted by him. Perhaps out of guilt, he didn't force me. Dr. Ding received the punishment he deserved, and I returned to my former home, with my parents and brother who loved me. Most importantly, Alex didn't die, and I was with him. Everything was developing in a good direction. However, a few days later, I suddenly started to feel dizzy, vomited, had body aches all over, and later even fainted. After being taken to the hospital, the doctor couldn't find out the cause of my illness. Alex was almost going crazy with anxiety but was at a loss. I told Alex that it should be because of the medicine that Dr. Ding had splashed on me. Alex immediately went to find him. Unexpectedly, he had committed suicide in prison. Alex was desperate. He stayed by my side every day, and his eyes were bloodshot from lack of sleep. Unexpectedly, after a few days, my condition improved, and I was transferred from the intensive care unit to an ordinary ward. My parents and my brother came to the hospital several times a day. Mr. Thompson always stayed outside my ward but didn't dare to come in. Perhaps it was a miracle, but my illness really started to get better gradually. Seeing that my condition was improving, there was a bit more smile on Alex's stern face. On the night before I was about to be discharged from the hospital, Alex went out to buy food, and I was left alone in the ward. I didn't expect Lily to burst in suddenly. Emma, why do you deserve him? Why do you deserve to have him? Do you know that I was the one who accompanied him during his most difficult days? Just die. She was shouting and screaming in my ward like she had gone crazy. The next second, a knife stabbed into my chest, and I was in so much pain that I almost fainted. When my consciousness was fading, I saw Alex staggering towards me, and the food he bought also fell to the ground. I opened my eyes, and the pungent smell of disinfectant filled the air around me. You're finally awake. Save your energy. Your life doesn't really belong to you now. It can only be considered Alex's. Did you really think you could die by slitting your wrist? Don't be ridiculous. They say online that the success rate is only 5%. A cup of hot water was handed to me. When I looked up, it was Lily who was handing me the water. But she clearly killed me, just now. I immediately sat up in bed. Strangely, my chest didn't hurt. What on earth is going on? As if she understood the look in my eyes, she handed me a pen and paper. Where's Alex? My hand was shaking as I wrote. I think you've slept for too long and your brain is messed up. You saw him die, didn't you? Lily's eyes were red, and she looked at me unhappily. I was immediately panicked and snatched the phone from Lily's hand. The next second, I was stunned. The date on the phone was actually the 6th day after I slit my wrist. I slumped on the bed, and tears flowed out of my eyes involuntarily. Could all of this just be a dream? What's wrong with you exactly? If it weren't for Alex's last words, I wouldn't want to care about you at all. You just keep thinking about how to die all day long. Alex saved my life. He found me when I was a child, so I'm doing all this to repay him. If I were him, I wouldn't have saved you. The heart of someone who wants to die can never be saved. Think it through carefully. I'll go call the doctor to check on you. I didn't listen to a word of what Lily said. I just sat on the hospital bed in a daze, as if I had lost my soul. After a while, the doctor came in. You're awake, right? We found the components of many kinds of drugs in your body. These drugs have the effects of causing deformities and hallucinations and will cause irreversible damage to your body. We suggest you stay in the hospital for observation. The doctor's tone was serious, and he looked at me with a regretful expression. I lay back down and turned my head away, not wanting to listen to the doctor anymore. The memories of the dream seemed to be fading away little by little. The painful expression on Alex's face before he died seemed to appear in front of my eyes. He was such a restrained and forbearing person. How painful it must have been to make him feel that way. As I thought about it, I couldn't help but shed tears again. Suddenly, my head ached violently, and then I started vomiting violently. Lily wasn't there, and no one was taking care of me, and she was the only one I could rely on now. I closed my eyes, and the scene of the children's home was vivid in my mind. A withdrawn little boy was sitting in a wheelchair, staying in the most unobtrusive corner. A little girl timidly stepped up and took out the only candy in her pocket and handed it to the little boy. The little boy knocked the candy away without hesitation and coldly spat out a word. Scram. It was the first time the little girl had shown kindness to someone, but she got such a response. She was very sad and decided to ignore the little boy from then on. Unexpectedly, the next day, the candy appeared intact in the little boy's pocket, and it was wrapped layer by layer with paper, as if it was something extremely precious. Alex, let me rely on you one more time. I opened my eyes. Outside the window, there was a world of white snow, without the slightest sign of life, just like me. When I closed my eyes again, a mouthful of sweet and fishy liquid welled up in my throat. Could it be that the medicine I've taken for more than 10 years is going to take effect all at once today? I swallowed it and struggled to get up from the bed. Without any strength, I fell off the bed. Because of the medicine, my limbs had no strength at all. I used all my strength to crawl to the window. When Alex used to stay by my side, he liked to stay by the window the most. So this was the view. If possible, I hope I'll be deaf in my next life instead of mute, so that I can tell you my love instead of just listening to your deep affection. It suddenly started to snow outside. I leaned against the window, and my eyelids suddenly felt heavy.